Great. Aloha, caregivers. Welcome to the Caring Caregivers Show. I'm your host, Savvy, the founder of Gimme a Break, which is a nonprofit organization, and we're caring for caregivers. We're bringing back, of course, the joy of caregiving, and each week we're here to help caregivers to survive. And you all know why I say survive, because caregivers are at high risk. If you guys don't know my statistic, you should by now. 50% of all caregivers do not survive the one they are caring for. That is unacceptable, and we are here to change that. By the way, and I've been making sure to mention this, if you're watching and you're in the age of 70 and over, take a deep breath, because that statistic shoots up to 70%, which means 70% of those over the age of 70 caring for someone, most likely a spouse, you're not going to survive that. And you're so worried about taking care of them. And guess what? Your own health is going to decline and you won't be there to care for them. Then what happens? So this is serious business, you guys. Your health matters. Your wellness matters. And you need to survive. And you can get more information about Gimme a Break and what we do. Just go to our website. Let me just look at that right on cue, gab808.org on screen for you, or give us a text. Just drop us a text at 808-754-3787. We're not always there to answer that phone number, but we definitely check the texts all the time. And so we'll get there to you, and we'll make sure to get an answer to your question. And you know what? The best way to do it, in all honesty, go onto our website, gab808.org, and fill out our caregiver intake form. That we respond to immediately, and we'll get back to you via email. So make sure to check your junk email if you don't get a response within 24 hours. And we'll help you. We'll get you all resourced and whatever you need, and get you in touch with a community of caregivers just like you that you need. Okay, so one of the breaks that we give right off the bat, of course, is our caregiver support session. And we have those every week. And that is every Tuesday evening at 8 p.m. You can go online and join a community of caregivers that are there, and we're there to share. We're there to talk, share, laugh, cry. And every week I give you guys an assignment. In fact, we have an assignment that they're all going through. If some of you are watching, you guys all have to go through this assignment this week. You know what it is. And you have to answer those 6 questions that I gave you all week long to really, really look at what is our calling. We're doing vocational wellness right now. And it's all about where you want to be. What is your true calling in life? Which is an amazing thing, because one of our guests today is going to talk about that as well. And someone who found her calling. More about that as we go through the show. So join us, join Gimme a Break, and join our community. Trust me, you're going to want to be there. And of course, Gimme a Break brings you the Caring Caregiver Show. The Caring Caregiver Show is also sponsored by Givers Guides. So Givers Guides is your caregivers guides to caregiving. And it's written exclusively for caregivers. It's written by caregivers for caregivers from a caregiver's point of view. So get your subscription at giversguides.com. It's $24.99 for the year, you guys. You know I talk about it all the time, and it's totally worth it. It's like $2 a month. You spend more on coffee. And this is resources, connects you to resources. It's great articles. And I'm going to be talking about one of the articles in just a second. But, you know, today is July 19th. Man, the month is almost gone. And we are just days away from our Shine a Light charity walk. And for those of you who went last year, you know how much fun we had. And we are so excited about it again this year. And of course, you might say to yourself, well, yeah, but Savvy, I'm a caregiver. I'm on my feet all day. You know, the last thing you want to do is go for a walk. Well, that's not really what this walk is all about. You're not going to climb Mount Everest or Coco Head. You're not going to have to really wear yourself out. You could be wearing slippers, because it's inside the Windward Mall. It's air conditioned and safe. And you go at your own pace. It's just a little over a mile's worth of walking, and you don't even have to complete the whole thing if you don't want. You could just come for the socialization. You're going to take some cool selfies. You can walk around the mall. Hey, great excuse to shop. Nobody will know if you dipped into Victoria's Secrets and got something on sale. We won't tell. I won't tell if Bath and Body, you're carrying a Bath and Body bag. I won't tell anyone, promise. And so it's just a lot of fun and a really great time to commune. There's that social wellness factor here. You can really just get out there. And of course, we're going to have some amazing resources there. So we have some great sponsors this year with Arcadia, AARP, and many, many more. And they're going to be there to give you information and answer your questions. So it's not just a walk. There's a whole resource and community factor to this. Come on down. And, we're going to be doing some great giveaways too. So lots of great giveaways. In fact, we're going to be giving away one of our Pamper cruises. Talk more about that later in the show. We need to get moving and get going on. So again, do it. Go on to gab808.org, register now, and make arrangements to make sure that your carry is taken care of. It's going to be from 5 to 8 in the evening. So it's an evening walk, and you're going to get a backpack and a glow stick and just have fun. All right. Oh, the more reason not to isolate. We're going to not isolate. Okay, you guys, that's not what we want you to do. And I want to help you keep kind of in shape because I know you're worried, and I know you worry about who you're caring for, and you worry about them maybe falling, right? You get tired, but did you think that you're so tired that maybe something could happen to you and you could fall? Then what would happen? Who's going to take care of your carry? Who's going to take care of your mom, your dad, your grandma, your grandpa, your spouse? Who's going to take care of your partner, your friend? No one, because you've fallen and now you've become the one needing care. So today's guest is going to help us to talk about that a little bit, and also how important it is to have the right equipment. And a very, very special person to me, because he was responsible for one of our very first breaks that we gave. And we'll talk more about that. But right now, I really want to invite to the show someone extremely special, Michael Dowell. Aloha, Michael, of Ohana Stairlifts. How are you?
Hi, thanks for having me. Good, thanks. Thank you.
So glad to have you on the show. And it's about damn time.
It sure is. It's been a while. And I think I was here from the beginning with you, right? When you first started?
Yes, in the very
Yeah.
beginning, back in 2020. In fact, here, let me pull this up real quick. For those of you watching, you'll see this photo that's up. And for those of you that listen on podcast later, there's a picture of Alicia and her dad. And he's in the stair lift that Michael and his team helped us with to install. That was one of our very first breaks. Yeah, I remember that. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for that. And you guys
Yeah.
were just amazing. And she was carrying her dad up and down the flight of like 15 steps. You saw how steep it was.
Yep. Yep.
Like
And
3
then you
times
just
a
hurting
week.
her.
Yeah, for kidney dialysis, and she was carrying him on her back. I mean, I know a lot of caregivers out
Wow.
there do a lot worse, but she's that's changed their whole life. So what you
Yeah.
guys did changed everything. Thank you for that.
Yeah. You're welcome. I love helping people.
Yeah. Well, tell me, you have a caregiving story as well. So tell me a
I,
little bit
I
about you.
do. So I got into this business about 13 years ago when I was helping my mom take care of my dad with Alzheimer's. And when I was home with her, she was really struggling to get him off the lazy boy and the chairs and in and out of the bathtub and just general everyday caring for him. And so I made some suggestions to her that, hey, maybe we should get one of the lift chairs so that when he's sitting in front of the TV, you hit a button instead of trying to grab him
Grab it.
and
Yeah.
pull him up herself because
Yeah.
she's the same age as him. And when I was watching her, he was wobbly because he was in the later stages. So it's just really made me afraid. And it took me 3 months to talk her into getting a chair.
Wow.
And she came up with every excuse you could think of: the color, the cost, the need. And with a little help with my siblings, we finally got one. And her first words were, "Oh my gosh, why did I wait so long to put this in?"
That's right. Yep.
And so as I started talking to her more and more and watching her take care of my dad and with Alzheimer's, and she did this until he passed away at home, God bless her. I started putting in the grab bars. We fixed the tub. We put in handrails, and all these little things like just changing the lights or something walking in the door so he doesn't trip made a huge difference in her life and our lives, because now we weren't afraid of her getting injured taking care of him,
Yeah.
and it made her job easier to do.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so when I came back to Hawaii, I thought I looked around and I thought, wow, there is a serious need for this. And with the upcoming baby boomers as we are,
Yeah.
there wasn't much here to do or anybody to help. And that's when I got my executive certification from USC in home modifications, and I joined the Department of Health's Fall Prevention Consortium, and which I'm now chairman of for the last 5 years. And what we do is we do PSAs and we put on seminars to teach people how to make their homes safe and prevent falls.
Yeah. And that's
Yeah.
just so amazing. I mean, your heart, a true caregiver heart, right? Out of caregiving really comes our mission, right?
Yeah.
And
You got to
what
do it from the heart.
yeah, you got to do it from the heart. And I've been noticing there's a new commercial, because I know the other commercials that you were in, that you fell in, I think is hilarious. I love that. You're
Yeah.
great acting, by the way. And but I also see the new one now that's come up with the two young boys, and they talk about the grab bars for tutu, and what a
Yep.
great thing, because it reaches people so they understand. And I always say this whenever I have a guest. I don't know why, but this is why I do what I do too, is that I wish I had this when I was caregiving. I remember being in a conversation with my father about getting a stair lift, and they had this huge long stair to the second floor of their house. And, I know it was a thing for them to climb. And
Hmm.
sure as shooting, I tried to have this conversation just like you, and a storm hit, the lights went out, and my father fell down a full flight of stairs, broke 3 ribs.
Oh, geez. Yeah.
And so I can relate.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, and don't
Yeah.
hesitate on these things, to contact, because that was the start of my caregiving journey, right? My mother had just had a little mini stroke, and then my father fell down a full flight of stairs, and there you
Oh, you
go.
had your hands full. Yep.
Yep.
Bam. Just like that.
Yep.
Everything changes at the blink of an
Just
eye.
like that. And you think
Yeah.
that you can put something off, and I say don't.
Yeah.
And also, I know with the Fall Consortium, which is a great thing, some of you may not even know this exists. I'm going to tell you, there's a whole department that's going to help you through the state, that's going to help you to prevent falls. It's that important. I mean, I'm not even going to go over some of the statistics unless you want to, but I also know that you offer to do like a free home inspection, right?
Yeah. So every time we go to a customer's home to do to talk to them about a stair lift, we also offer a free home assessment where we go through the home and help them identify other areas in the house that have trip hazards. Super easy things: getting rid of the rugs, putting grab bars in the bathroom, and even today, just changing the lights in your bathroom and other rooms in the house to daylight bulbs reduces the risks of fall significantly, and they cost pennies on the dollar to do.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
never think about that unless somebody brought that to your attention.
Yeah, yeah. So as we tell people, I said stair lifts is just one part of the equation. The rest of the equation is, getting them in and out of the house, getting their meds checked, helping them exercise. I tell
Yeah.
people stairs are not the place you want to exercise. They're
Yeah.
unforgiving and deadly.
Yeah, they're horrible.
Yeah.
I think the whole world should be made of ramps.
Yeah.
And just really
Rubbers.
windy ramps, wonderful ramps everywhere. The whole
Yeah.
stair thing is just out of control. But I'll tell you, you may all think too to yourselves that, well, I don't really need them, and like my mom, she became non-ambulatory. And people think, well, they're just in the bed, so they don't need them either. So why should I have grab bars? Well, I'm going to tell you right now, caregivers, they're not just for the one you're caring for. They're for you too. Caregivers, you're at high risk because you're exhausted, you're frustrated, you're tired, you haven't slept, and you're not at your peak. And you could easily slip and fall. And I know, because if I didn't have grab bars, I would have fallen. I was so tired. And
Yeah.
I had my mom that I had to get in and out of the bath, and I had to carry her and slide her and get her
That's
from
a
a
lot.
wheelchair to a bath chair. And those grab bars in that bathroom were just golden for me, because I could
Yeah.
hang on to them and I could brace myself and I could brace her. And I knew with confidence that I had that. If I
There's
didn't,
something there. Yeah.
yeah, we would have both gone down.
Yeah.
And then I would have been myself probably, needing care and paralyzed as well. And the
Yeah.
two of us would have been sitting there for how God knows how long, with
Yep.
no phone, couldn't move. And you just don't want to create those situations
You
when you
don't. And, an analogy I like to use is do you remember when we were growing up and everybody was trying to convince people to wear seatbelts? So you had all these commercials on TV with the seatbelts, right?
yeah,
And then after that, we whittled everything down so that more and more people were putting on their seatbelts, but then they made it a law that you had to have a seatbelt. And now every time somebody gets in a car, it's as simple as turning the key. That's the first thing you do is put your
put on
seatbelt
this.
on. And that's the same kind of analogy with a grab bar in a shower. You want to get into the habit of grabbing it when you're going in and out of it. And that way, when you do slip, it's already imprinted into your long-term memory. So you're not throwing your hands up. You're actually, exactly where to grab because your brain's been accustomed to using this medical equipment, the grab bar, for so long that it's just natural. And they're not just, little kids. Everybody can use them. The
Everyone.
bathrooms are slippery, and
It
bam.
just makes it safer.
Yeah.
Just makes it safer. And, and the other thing too, is I've seen this so many times where even myself as a caregiver, I did it, but also those kupuna who are aging do it. And they do grab onto something. You know what they grab
Yep.
onto? They grab onto that towel rack.
Yeah.
And that thing is so flimsy and usually
Plastic,
coming out the wall anyway.
Yep.
And it's held by a couple of small little screws. And
Yeah.
that is the worst. Well, that's
Yeah.
okay. I can hang on to this towel rack. No.
Nope. That's a false sense of security. And believe me, I see a lot of people when I go into their homes that is busted and no longer working.
Right.
Because
And
they
that's
grabbed
why.
it and pulled it out. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
today they have grab bars that also act as a towel bar too. So it's a grab bar and then it's got a little place underneath it to hang your towels.
I love that. See, you guys didn't know that, did you?
Yeah.
You need to talk to Mike. You guys need to talk to Michael and find out exactly what works. And it's worth the time. And we're not talking about these grand expenses. Even if it was a stair lift where it's going to cost some money, you know what? They're all worth it because in the end, you're creating a safer environment and you really need that. And I cannot emphasize that enough because again, I wish I had all of these things. We don't think we're going into a slippery, soapy area and we think we're going to be okay. We're not. So you're all at risk and we have to be very careful. And the bottom line is we don't want to make a bad situation worse.
Yep. That's exactly it. Exactly
so you need to, and see, I forgot to I'm going to put this up right now. There you go. There it is. You guys need to contact Michael Dowell at Ohana Stairlifts, and that's ohanastairlifts.com, or just call 808-450-3028. That's 808-450-3028, ohanastairlifts.com. Don't even wait till the end of the show. Type it in right now and go on his website, or just give him a call right after the show, or, well, you can call him right now and miss the show if it's that important. Because this is important. This is not.
It'll save your life.
Yeah, it's going to save your life, a life, everyone's life. And even if it doesn't, even if you don't think, oh, that's okay. You know what? I just going to get hurt. I can get back up again. No, these are life-changing accidents that happen. And you don't want to put yourself in that situation.
Just like you said, for you and the entire family.
Yeah.
All
right. Well, anything else you want to share?
Well, I just wanted to go over a little bit, about stair lifts. In the last 13 years, I get a lot of pushback from people mostly caregivers wanting to put them in like yourself. And, when I come in, I'm able to talk to the parents and give them good reasons. And it's all about a talk track and how you approach it, making them a part of the conversation and, throwing things in like, how many of your friends that that have fallen, or things like that to really make them think about it. But we put them in outdoors, indoors. There's curved ones, and for the price of one of these lifts, it's negligible as to the cost of a fall, and that's one thing you don't want. So we keep all these things in stock here on island. Unfortunately, half the calls I get today are from people that are trying to get out of rehab, And, you know, stairs in Hawaii, there's so many of them, they won't release them until they get some sort of stair lift to get them in and out of the house.
Yeah.
And so I always tell people, you know, you're the best person that can watch your parents going up and down the stairs. When you see that they're having difficulty, or, you know, there's an potential for them to fall, don't wait. Get the stair lift, put it in. I've put in over 1,000 of these in the last 13 years, and I've never had a customer say, gee, I guess I didn't want to put that in. I don't think I needed it. It
Yeah.
was within an hour. Oh, this is the greatest thing ever. I
Yeah.
can't believe I waited so long. So
Yeah.
they come in all sorts of sizes, and we are able to help anybody out with almost any type of staircase. So nothing is too narrow or too small. And what we want to do is make sure that you can get in and out of your house without anxiety, and stay in home, because that's what everybody wants. They want to stay
Yep.
in their home. And a lot of times stairs can prevent people from doing that, but a stair lift will definitely help you
Change
get
everything.
in and out of your home. Yeah.
I agree. And
And
you know,
friends can use them.
yeah. And you know, I agree, because it's like, not only that, but here's the thing: you can do it outdoors. There's an outdoor stair lift. A lot of people don't realize that. The one we did for
Yeah.
Alicia was outdoors. It was out in front of
Yep.
their house, and it never,
Yeah.
it didn't spoil the front of the house. It was
Yeah.
covered. It was off to the side. It's wonderful. And
Yeah.
you can have that. And you know, again, I wish I had you to talk to my parents, because you probably would have. My dad would have liked you.
Yeah.
He would have liked your personality,
I
and
like
he
to talk
probably,
story. Yeah.
yeah, you know, and he probably would have signed on and said, yeah, let's do it. But
Yeah.
instead, we didn't do it. He fell. I ended up having to quit my job and take care of them full time. So
Yeah.
I lost that income as well, right? And the doctor bills after my mom's
Wow.
stroke and his fall, you know, so
Hundreds of thousands. Yeah.
yes, it would have been totally negligible, like you said. I
Yeah.
think that we definitely needed to have done that, and you can't turn back time,
You
but you
can't.
can make a difference for somebody else.
Yeah. You got it. You
And
got
that's
it.
why I have you here today.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you
Thank
know,
you.
I'm passionate about this, right?
Yeah. Me too.
Well, yeah. So thank you so much, you guys. Again, that's ohanastairlifts.com at 808-450-3028. Talk to Michael. Make it a point to do it now. Don't wait. And this is something so important. So thank you so much for coming on today and for sharing with us. And
You're
we'll just
welcome.
have to bring you on periodically to update.
I would love that.
I think
I
we're
have
gonna-
some other friends I can bring on too from the fall
Yes,
prevention
let's
concern.
do that.
Stanley,
Let's
you remember him?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Let's do
He's
that.
such a great guy.
Awesome. We'll plan for that. And you know, we've got what is Falls Prevention Month? Is in, when is that? Is that
It's
in
this month.
February or March or?
Yeah, it's coming up. I think it's next month.
Oh, is it? Okay, we're
Yeah.
gonna plan. Well, I'm not gonna be
Yeah.
on next month, but maybe we'll plan something for my next season, which is
Yeah.
in October. So we'll
Yeah.
be in touch. Well, thanks for
All right.
coming
Thank
on.
you so
I'm
much.
so glad. All right. Thanks, Michael, and have a
Have a
great
good day.
day.
Aloha.
Oopsie, there we go. Oh my God, what a wonderful, amazing person. And again, you guys, a caregiver just like you. What he went through with his family got him to where he is today. And you know, this show's getting a little longer, but boy, I'll tell you something, you guys, we're gonna have a great show, still more to come. So don't leave us. And if you're on, call and contact everyone you know, because we've got a great segment coming up now. And before that, I just want to ask you guys if you are aware of all of the fall hazards in your home right now. And if you're not, call Michael. Thanks again, Mike, being on. Have you had a chance, by the way, to check out our July issue of the Giver's Guides? Okay, well, if you haven't, you know, every month, Christy Pickrell of Our Little Piece of Mind, she is our Ask Christy. And we have an Ask Christy article that comes out. In fact, the question in this month's issue, oh gosh, I'm going to pull it right over here. Hang on, be patient with me. Let me pull it right into my view. I'm going to read it to you right now. The question here is, how do you deal with anger, frustration, and heartbreak when a loved one is diagnosed with dementia? How's that? And so the answer here is really worth reading. And she basically talks about how it's a hard one for her because she went through it. And in the end, she gives you some suggestions and recommendations. And that's the kind of things that you're going to find in Givers Guides as well. And, I'm not going to read it to you because you're going to have to get a subscription to read it. But I'll tell you that next month, the question is, where can I get help and support? And that's the biggest question I get all the time. So you're definitely not going to want to miss that. Go to giversguides.com. Let me take this off and put this on. Giversguides.com, right there on the screen. It's so easy. Giversguides.com and get your subscription. And check out those articles. There's so much more. It's like I said, everything's written from a caregiver's point of view for caregivers. And you're definitely going to want to find out the answer to these questions. And if you have a question, email it to askchristy@gab808.org. I know I don't have that one to flip on the screen, so I'll say it again. It's Ask Christy, CHRISTY, okay? Ask Christy at gab808.org, and go ahead and email her your question, and you'll get an answer. And you may be featured in one of our issues. So she gets a lot of questions, and we pick one for every issue, but she'll always answer any question that comes to her in an email. So you guys email her for your answers. All right, let's move along. Today, we have a very special guest. You all know my guest who's coming up. She's co-hosted with me many, many times. She's also right alongside with me, charging our mission side by side for Give Me a Break. And here with me today to share her caregiving journey with her new book, Under the Fall Moon and a Guiding Star. Please welcome my sister from another mister and my friend and now author, Lani Almanza. Aloha, Lani. Hi. Oh, I don't hear you. There, I unmuted your mic. Can you unmute your mic?
There we go.
Hi. There we go. Hi. I mean, I was thinking I can always hear you.
I'm always in your head.
You are, yes, and in a very good way. So thank you for that. I'm so honored to have you on. I don't even want to talk about your caregiving story and everything because that's what your book's about, and you've talked about it so many times. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about your book.
Yes. It's been a journey of about 20 years to bring this to fruition. I tell people that's a really long pregnancy. So the baby needed to be born.
Love it. And for those who are watching, there's her book on screen right now.
Yeah. And one of my friends who did a review for me, I think she put it best that it's a memoir and a guidebook of a journey to self-care and wellness. And it does talk about my caregiving journey. But one of the things that I recognized after getting involved with Give Me a Break and starting to write the book was where my caregiving journey really started. And it started when I was a young child. I was the oldest of 4 children. And so around the age of 10, I started babysitting and then became the neighborhood babysitter. And so I talk about that journey and how it progressed into different types of caregiving over my lifespan. One of the significant points and the reason that it's called Under a Full Moon and a Guiding Star was my transformation through my youngest son's journey with cancer. He transitioned in 2005, and that became a very pivotal point when I knew that there was a book that needed to be written. I just didn't know when and how it would come about.
Yeah. And I think it's so important that this is not just, your caregiving story. This is really, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it's almost like a guidebook to self-care and wellness to get to a point in your life where you know your calling and your mission and your purpose. And that's been such a wonderful revelation for you. And I know we talk about things like this all the time because we try to help caregivers to understand the importance of finding that mission and practicing wellness and practicing self-care and how important that is. And doing that without guilt, right? So
Right.
it becomes this journey, right?
Right. And that's where the book ended up, sort of in 3 parts, was the before Jacob's transformation, my transformation, what came after that. And then the third part of the book is what I call the Alakai life lessons, that things that I learned about self-care and wellness
Right.
that have now continued to sustain me through other caregiving journeys. And like you said, find my purpose is to bring that health and wellness to others, to help others live an activated life in whatever aspect or age that you are. We talk about, oftentimes people think of caregivers as someone who's caring for someone that's ill or aging, but oftentimes it's a young mom that, is just trying to do her best with kids and a job and home, and so the self-care gets put on the back burner there as well. I was just last night reminded that there's also caregivers who have had a really traumatic caregiving journey, and they really find it hard to identify with that role. This woman told me she goes, I'm not a caregiver anymore, but I take care of 20 cats.
That's a caregiver.
I said, if it's breathing air, we consider you a caregiver. And certainly 20 cats can be quite challenging.
People, plants, and pets. That's what I always say.
Yeah.
And I mean, and also, those who, all of you bosses out there, I used to hate that word boss, but all the leaders and mentors of the world who are responsible for the lives of those that you do lead and mentor, and you care about them.
Right.
You're a caregiver. And some bosses don't give a rip, but the majority do. And you care about the development of that soul. And you're a caregiver, and you take that weight on. And so you tend to put yourself last. And all of this is so important. This isn't just like a self-help book. This is your self-existence. This is how to exist and thrive, how to find joy in your mission in life. And being able to relate that story. I love that you put this together. I'm so excited about it.
Yeah. Well, it would not have come together in the last year had it not been for a guest that we had on the Caring Caregiver Show, who really, when I heard her story, and I think we're gonna show my interview with Miriam in a minute.
Yeah.
But that was sort of one of the catalysts of getting this into the labor and delivery stage.
Yeah. And it's something about it, but I know you explained it in the interview. Why don't we let's share. Lonnie was able to catch up with Miriam, and who is in the Netherlands, by the way.
So that's why she's recorded
live on the show. Although, one of us would have had to have done something a lot earlier. I think the first time she came on the show, when she actually came on live, we had to tape the show at like 6 a.m. Because of the time change. So you all can do the math, but let's just share that interview with everybody now. Here, I'm going to add it on.
Well, I am here with Miriam Baudouin, who, and I hope I can get through this without crying because she's so important to me in my book journey. And I just wanted to start out with how we met, because it was one of what I call a God incident, not a coincidence. We were both connected to an organization called Give Me a Break that has a podcast called The Caring Caregiver Show. And Miriam was a guest last February or March, or maybe even April, but anyway, last year. And I happened to be co-hosting that show. And when I heard Miriam's story, I just said, I need to know this woman. There's something about her energy. Even though she's in the Netherlands and I'm in Hawaii, there's some way that we have to connect. And so I reached out to her and we met. And prior to our meeting, I had purchased her book from burnout to powerhouse, right? Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Caregiver 2.0. Yeah.
Yeah. And here's what I came away with. That if Miriam could write in her voice, I could write in mine. That the story that I have been wanting to tell, the book that I've been wanting to write for over 20 years, finally needed to come to life. And so when I was talking to Miriam, she graciously offered to connect me with her writing coach, who is a phenomenal, intuitive person. And through all of that, as of August 1st, I will be launching my book, Under a Full Moon and a Guiding Star. But I really wanted to have Miriam share her writer's journey. I think we both have had that experience now with Sarah, and having a writing coach is so incredibly important. So Miriam, I'm going to let you tell us how you came to write your story and your connection with Sarah, and a little bit about that author writing process, because it can be challenging. You warned me to have Kleenex.
Oh, thank you so much, Lani. So first of all, thank you so much. Thank you so much for asking me for this. I really appreciate you for who you are. And I am super, super, super proud of you that you just did it. You are becoming an author, a best-selling author.
Thank you.
So my writing journey started in August 2020 in the midst of COVID. I remember that Sarah and we had met online, and we tried to schedule a Zoom meeting, just who is Sarah, who is Miriam. And I think it was August 5th of 2020. So Sarah asked me, hey, who are you? Nice to meet you. And I said, you see, I'm enjoying life to the max, but you should know that there was a time in my life when I was the chauffeur, the groceries woman, working full-time, the caregiver, and taking care of my husband, and I burned out. And I shared more about my story, and I was so busy that I wasn't paying attention to my screen. And when I finally looked at my screen, I saw that Sarah had tears in her eyes, and I apologized. I said, oh no, it wasn't my intention to make you cry. Maybe I should write a book. And she said, I would be honored, because I am a writing coach. So I would be honored to guide you, to coach you, to help you.
Yeah.
And I said, no, who would want to read my book? I was just kidding. Come on. And she said, no, Mary, I'm really serious. Give it a thought. So I went downstairs after our call, and I told my husband, this is what just happened. And he said, maybe you should give it a thought. And on August 2020, I started writing Caregiver 2.0 from burnout to powerhouse. 10 months later, in June of 2021, I self-published this book, and 3 times in a month, it was #1 new releases on Amazon.
Awesome.
Impact it has on many people, both caregivers and non-caregivers. I don't have enough words to describe how it feels when people send messages like, hey, Miriam, you have helped me so much. The writing journey was a journey of many tears, but also many laughs. It was a journey of getting to know myself better. It was a journey of doubts sometimes. I mean, we are all humans.
Oh, yeah.
Also working on my confidence, personal growth. And I was so convinced at a certain point that, yeah, I am going to help people with this book. I self-published my book.
Ooh, yeah.
I had to find out a lot of stuff myself because you can't find everything on the internet. But I was so willing to do this because I knew I could help people. And Sarah motivated me. She inspired me. When I got homework from her, sometimes I was like, oh no, more homework, more
Yeah.
homework. But
I remember that. It's like, I don't want to write about that. No, I don't
I
want to do
don't,
that.
I don't want to do that. Oh, don't go there. Don't
Yeah.
ask me this question. I don't want to talk about this.
Right.
I remember the first time I cried and I texted her, like, what's happening to me? I'm crying. And she said, that's normal.
Mhm.
Let those tears flow. And yeah, that's in short my story, how I got to write Caregiver 2.0.
Yeah.
And once again, I'm so proud of you.
Oh, well, thank you. I would not have completed this without you. And when you talk about self-publishing, thank you so much for your guidance on that as well, because it has been, like I said, 20 years in the making. And when I had the session with you and got the email from you, that little fear signal at the back of your head, it just went, and so for me, it was, I knew that I could do that, but it would take me a lot of time and energy that would probably postpone the launch of the book. And it also would have probably made me abandon the project. And I just couldn't do that after 20 years. 20 years is a very long gestation period. This baby had to be born. So for me, Sarah recommended a consultant that helped me with, she had the team that knew all the processes and platforms and applications that we needed to work through. But it was good to have your information and your knowledge for me to be able to make that decision. Because I told Sarah after I got into the publishing part, I was like, can we go back to the writing? As hard as I thought that was, the publishing part is so much more challenging.
It is. It is.
So if anybody is listening to this and needs that guidance, that help, you are one person, you and Sarah, the two people that any budding author that is out there, you are two names that I will always recommend and refer.
Thank you
so
much.
Tell us how we can get your book.
My book, Caregiver 2.0, here it is, everyone. You can get it on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, in bookstores, it's everywhere. I'm all over the place, and so will Lani. Lani will be all over the place, I hope. So you can get it on Amazon or on my website, miriambaldewijn.com. You can also, you can order a paperback or a Kindle version on Amazon, and please let me know your thoughts.
Yes.
I was just reading the first lines of my book just now, and before we started recording, and I got tears in my eyes again. It is so needed. And Lani, I am so grateful that you didn't think, oh, should I do this? When I talked to you, I could feel that you had a beautiful story in your belly, that it needed to get out of your belly.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that you will help many people with your story.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Thank
and
you.
even if it's only one person, you are helping humanity.
Yeah. I've already had some great reviews from several trusted people who I knew would be have a critical eye, but also a warm heart. And the reaction to my, my pre-launch messages has been overwhelming to know that people want to hear my story. So
I can't wait.
Thank you so much. Oh, I'm going to cry again.
I was kidding. like, oh my God, it's over.
Yeah.
I was so enthralled. And I had so many thoughts while that was happening. And I remembered how wonderful and sweet she is in a person, and her story as well. And, you guys can even go on to, you could go on to the caringcaregivershow.com, and her interview is still on there. So
Yeah.
you could probably go back to past shows and see that and hear more about her. And definitely get her book, Caring 2.0, From Burnout to Powerhouse. And I love that because that's exactly what we talk about. You're burned out. We know it. You're having caregiver burnout, but you can become a powerhouse. And not only is Marian's story amazing to do that in her book to help you, but Lonnie now as a published author. And so I'm throwing my prouds in there of you as well, because what a journey, and to share that is such a wonderful thing. It's such a wonderful
Thank
thing,
you.
and
Thank
to
you.
find that purpose and mission in life, and it changes everything, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It really, once you land on that spot, there's an inner drive and commitment that will not let you give up. But I want to share this with other caregivers, is that you don't necessarily have to write a book, but you do have to tell your story. Everyone has a story that's important and should be heard. And there is at least one person out there that needs to hear your story. We do a Tell Your Story workshop series in the fall. So stay tuned for that. If it starts to, sort of generate something in you, if that seed is planted, we're here to help guide you in how to just begin to tell your caregiver story.
Yeah.
So
you have to tell your story. You don't just live it. You have to tell it to be able to move on from it, and to really find peace and joy with that.
yes,
And there are so many stories and books out there, and each one represents somebody who's not only had to live through something in some way, but who has survived it. And it's all about survival. That's what we're talking about for caregivers, you guys. It's all about your survival in one way or another. You're going to survive this, and then we're going to teach you how to thrive. And yes, as Lonnie said, we have our and that's a big announcement coming up next week in our finale. I'm going to talk a little bit more about our Tell Your Story workshops that will be coming up. But we have to get through something much bigger coming up very soon. And so thank you so much, Lonnie, for coming on today and for sharing your story and your book and your journey. I'm so excited. You guys, available starting August 1st on Amazon.
Yep.
Let's just put her on that bestseller list, you guys. And you can pre-order, right?
The Kindle is available to pre-order now. So it'll drop in. If you pre-order, it'll drop on August 1st. The paperback and hardcover will be available to order on August 1st. So please, everybody, put your orders in on August 1st so it pushes me up to that bestseller list.
Yes, we want you on that bestseller list.
And it's available. I did a hardcover because I wanted at least one version to have the photos in color. There's some very significant photos that I've added to the book. And for me, they were very powerful in color, but could only do those in hardcover. So if you really want color photos, get a hardcover, but paperback, they'll both be available on August 1st.
And available on Kindle too, which is great. So for caregivers that can't carry books around, you can have it on your Kindle, you can do it on your phone. What a great thing. So offering that is a good thing.
It's only 6x9, so I actually carry one in my purse all the time.
There you go. Perfect. So either way, you guys support a fellow caregiver, and Alani, who definitely devotes her life so much to a great mission, caring for caregivers. Thank you for that, and help support her. August 1st, get on Amazon and order Under a Full Moon and a Guiding Star, and let it be your guiding star to survive caregiving and thrive. So thank you so much for doing that, for being the soul that you are. And I just love you. I just love you when you know that. So thank you for coming on today, Lonnie.
See you soon.
See you soon. Aloha.
Aloha.
Wow, what a show. It's getting great. Okay, you guys. So we've got so much, just a few more things to wrap up here. Thank you for hanging in there today and staying on for those of you that are watching live. So our second annual Shine a Light for Caregiver Walk is this Saturday, you guys. Look on the screen. If you're listening on podcast later, it's going to be too late. So if you're watching live, spread the word. Take a screenshot, share this with everyone you know. And I'm hiding that so you can see it. It's just going to be so much fun. It's a glow walk. So if you have glow stuff or glow in the dark clothing or anything, wear it. Let's really shine that light for caregivers. Let them know that we're here. It's really about creating an awareness to the fact that caregivers are isolated and just living in terror and constant frustration. But we're going to have live music. There'll be great giveaways. And of course, our resource sponsors will be there to answer all your caregiving questions. And, we're going to have a little bit of fun. We're going to have a van parked there. So for those of you coming, you're going to see this little van. And I mean little van. It's not just any old van parked there. This is a JDM Hawaii van. Those cute Japanese import vans? That's going to be there. You got to come and see it and check out what JDM is, one of our sponsors. So you've got to check out the vehicle. It's going to be driven there and sitting right there in center court with us. I'm really excited about that. Just going to be lots of fun and a great night out for caregivers. And I said this before and I'll say it again. All right, you want to come. That's great. Are you a caregiver? You're not. Okay, here's a thought. Offer to cover for the caregiver so that they can get a night away because they really deserve that. And if you're a caregiver, bring out that wheelchair, load your carry in there and bring them along and come on down. We've had several that have come and we've had the kupuna there. So just come and have a night out. It's an hour of your time, maybe 2. 5 to 8 is how long it is, but you can come in at 6 and start walking and stay till we give away our prizes. So come and join us. The whole thing is don't isolate. Join us. And we'll see you at our Shine a Light charity walk this Saturday. And also, please remember to register for our caregiver retreat. Our caregiver retreat is coming up next month on the 19th. It's free. It includes breakfast, lunch, and a little snacky. And space is really limited. I believe we may only have about five or so slots left. So go to gab808.org and register now. Don't even mess around with it. Go register for it. We're going to end up having a wait list. So even if you register and can't go, don't worry. There'll be somebody that'll fill your spot. Get connected to us. Come online and join our support sessions. Go to gab808.org for that. And just get on to our sessions every Tuesday evenings at 8 p.m. You know you need it. You need community. Trust me, we're just a bunch of caregivers just like you. All right. And of course, my heartfelt thanks to all of our guests today. Next week, we have our season finale for season 9. And of course, we're going to have a really big surprise announcement. So you don't want to miss that. And part of it is it has to do with the Tell Your Story workshops. So just log on, get in next week and set a reminder on your phone to join us live next week. And of course, every week at noon on the Caring Caregiver Show, brought to you by Give Me a Break and sponsored by Givers Guides. So no worries if you miss us live, you guys. You can always check us out on podcast. We're always available there. And you can go to the caringcaregivershow.com. There it is on screen. caringcaregivershow.com to check out any past episodes and watch them. But again, we are available on podcast, which is a really great thing. You can listen to it while you're caring right on your earphones. Just go to Spotify, Apple, any platform, Google, we're all there. And you can listen to past episodes. In the meantime, please remember, breathe, take a breath. You're worthy. You deserve it. And here's hoping that you're finding joy in caregiving every week here on the Caring Caregiver Show and in your own caregiving journey. Thanks for tuning in. And please always be kind to yourself and to all that are caring. Aloha, everyone. Good night. Good day.